Today we're taking a look at the GDEMU modded Dreamcast from HDRGB.
Team Canada.
What's going on, guys? I'm SeeJayAre, back with another exciting video. Today we've got a GDEMU modded Dreamcast. Big shout out to and thank you to the guys from HDRGB Consoles for sending this unit over to me, Patrick and John. Thank you very much. If you want to check out hdrgb.com, check out the link in the description below, and feel free to follow them on Instagram and YouTube. They just uploaded a really sweet new channel trailer to their YouTube channel, which kind of highlights some of the mods they do over at hdrgb.com, and you'll find that in the cards, either here or here. I always get turned around when I'm talking to the camera. So basically, they will install the GDEMU mod for you in your console, or you can buy a pre-modded console, and you'll save 10% on a pre-modded console if you mention my name, SeeJayAre. So feel free to check them out. Links are in the description below. So a GDEMU mod essentially removes, well, it does remove the optical drive from inside your Sega Dreamcast and adds, I guess you would call it like a solid state board. So basically you can run your games off of an SD card. So basically what they do is they install the board, and when they go in there and open up your console, they'll actually replace the rechargeable battery. You know, when you fire up your Dreamcast and you always have to type the date in, which is super annoying. They'll solder in a CR2032 battery holder, so that when that rechargeable battery depletes again in 20-something years, you just have to pop a new one in. So that's kind of an added bonus that they do. And they also add this super slick 3D printed tray, which just kind of makes it look a little cleaner in there. You can see it's just behind the SD card there, and there's also a little rack for where you can place more SD cards in case you want to have several SD cards with, I don't know, different genres of games. You could fit the entire library on, I have a 64 gig card in here currently with 80 games, so let me see, let me do some quick math. 128, 256, it would probably take you at least 250, around 256, between 128 and 256 to fit an entire library. So I know that these boards, as far as I know, these boards are compatible up to 256, possibly even 400. So I think you can buy SD cards and fit the entire library. So basically, what excited me most about the GDEMU mod was being able to play unreleased Dreamcast games. There's a lot of games that actually were planned to be released and just didn't make it out. One of them being Half-Life. Half-Life was playing on the Dreamcast. A game called Propeller Arena, which I really enjoy playing. That was about to come to the Dreamcast, the flying game, but after 9/11 they canceled the release of the game. There's a Toe Jam and Earl game that never saw the light of day. So being able to play stuff like that, as well as homebrews, there's a very active homebrew scene for Sega Dreamcast stuff. Just being able to transfer those ROMs right onto an SD card and play them, super simple. You don't have to worry about like burning discs, and who has a CD burner these days anyways. As well as being able to play imports that didn't come over here. So Ikaruga, Rez, which is one of my favorite games of all time, and possibly one of my favorite Dreamcast games. I did a top 10 Dreamcast game video a couple years ago now, is Cosmic Smash. Cosmic Smash never came out here in North America. Cosmic Smash is kind of like tennis squash with like a Rez aesthetic, super highly stylized, Japanese, cool visuals. Highly recommend you check that out. But being able to play that stuff has been super easy with the GDEMU mod. Also, the Sega Dreamcast library. As you know, I completed my Dreamcast collection a few years ago with the help of viewers like you. The library is extremely expensive, and it's not you don't come across Dreamcast games very often. If you head to your local game store, they've probably got 3 or 4 Dreamcast games at a time, and it's usually the typical stuff like Sonic Adventure, maybe a Crazy Taxi, Virtua Tennis, which are great games. There's actually very few games on the Dreamcast library that aren't good, but they're super hard to come by. So investing in something like this will allow you to play Dreamcast games and on original hardware, which is the key. Of course, you can download emulators, Raspberry Pis, but to be honest with you, the Sega Dreamcast is not something that's easily emulated. It's actually pretty hard to play emulated Dreamcast games, much like with the Saturn N64. So this really is a fantastic solution if you want to get into the Dreamcast and want to be able to play the wide variety of games in the system. This is a fantastic way to do it, and on the original hardware. Super cool. Speaking of cool, this thing, obviously because it doesn't have the optical drive, runs a lot cooler. So one thing I was thinking about, and I don't actually know the answer to this, I haven't looked this up, but because the optical drive is gone, this thing is a lot quieter. You don't hear the that the Dreamcast is kind of known for, but the fan is still hooked up. So I was wondering, I should reach out to Patrick and John from HDRGB and ask them if you still need the fan. I wonder if I could disable the fan. I don't know how. I would assume it would run pretty cool. I don't know if you would need the fan. Just kind of popped in my head. What I do is play this in my kiosk. I've got 2 boys that are 6 and 7, and having them pull games off my Dreamcast shelf, which is already not super stable, and pick through games, have them load it. It's much easier for me just to tell them to power it on, and they can flip through the menu and pick a game and go. It's been absolutely amazing over in my kiosk, which I purchased a little while ago. So this is something that you need a little bit of technical skill to do this mod yourself. So, you know, it's something that I could probably do 2 or 3 hours of YouTube research, order the board, which is actually one of the main problems, is trying to get a hold of one of these GDEMUs is not easy. And then, you know, it'd probably take me 10 to 15 hours to figure out how to do this and actually install it. So finding the time to do things like that these days is super tough. So that's where the guys at HDRGB come in. And like I said, if you buy one of their pre-made units, you'll save 10% if you mention my name. It is an investment. It's not something, you're not going to get one of these for like $100, $200. It costs a chunk of change, but it's absolutely worth it when you consider the cost of a Dreamcast library these days. I absolutely love this unit. The one complaint that I have about the GDEMU is it's got a pretty basic and rudimentary menu, which doesn't really matter. I mean, you're only in the menu to load games. It's just kind of text-based, and it's pretty bare bones. Adding the games to the SD card, pretty simple. It's run off of a file system, so you basically just drag and drop the ROMs into the files. It'll read several different types of files, which is nice. You don't have to like convert them into specific ones, which is the case with some of these things. So yeah, that's like the one negative gripe I have. And if you fill up an SD card, the initial load screen when you turn it on can take a bit of time, but you know, it's very minor gripes to be able to have the convenience of having that many games on an SD card, and if you're up for it, an entire library of games on an SD card. And like I said, the ability to play games that I normally can't play in such an easy way has been my main use case for this. I've really been enjoying playing through the whole Beats of Rage series. Beats of Rage is like this amazing group of guys. I should give them a shout out. I think it's the Senile Project. I hope I'm not butchering that. But basically they took Streets of Rage and dropped in sprites from all different types of games. Battletoads, I think there's a Simpsons one, X-Men, the Marvel vs. Capcom series. They put the X-Men in that and made these beat-em-ups. It's absolutely astounding, the stuff that they've done. So I play a lot of Beats of Rage on the kiosk with the boys. We have a lot of fun playing those. So yeah, HDRGB. Big thanks to Patrick and John for sending this unit over. I absolutely love it, and I highly recommend, if you're at all interested in the GDEMU mod, go check out their channel on YouTube, subscribe, and check out the links in the description below. I couldn't be happier with this unit. It's served me really well, and I've been using my Dreamcast even more than I do. It was already the most played retro console in my game room, and playtime on this has just doubled. It's just opened up a world of other games that I haven't been able to play for years. So anyways, guys, thank you so much for watching this quick video on the GDEMU modded Sega Dreamcast. Till the next episode.